Everyone, we are coming to you live via YouTube streaming, via Facebook streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of mind is a comprehensive word. Thinking is a process. Introspection is a process. Meditation is the process of the mind. Mind has four corners. It works through those. Mind itself, that processes, that stores intellect, ego sense, and storehouse of the memory. Your actions and your life is based on your thinking, introspection, and meditative process. I will take a story which was narrated by Buddha. Someone asked Buddha, what about karma? If you ask Hare Krishna person, he will start quoting the sutras of Bhagavad Gita, the 3rd chapter, the Karma Yoga contains in detail. Will tell you niyatam kuru karmatam karma jayo akarmana sharir yatra pichatena prasiddhyed karmana, and one after the other sutras will quote and give the literal meaning. Buddha did not do that. Buddha said, I will tell you a story, and that explains how things happen in our day-to-day life, and it becomes easy for you to understand. It will be very easy for you to understand how does the process of actions of karma continues, and we remain bound by that, not knowing that it is our own doing, and we continue to blame the others for the problems in our lives. Our wives, husband, this, that, circumstances, situations, but we forget that we give impetus to all these, and when they return, it is like every day mailman comes to you, email comes to you. This is the modern system of mailing. Postman does not know, that is a server, the delivery person. He does not know what the envelope contains. He have a stack of envelopes in his hand, which he delivers door to door. In the same way, the email system is a server. That Gmail is a server, and there are other servers which go on serving the mails to you. The mails that come to you relates to you. No one else can open it. Only you can do it. And what are the contents is based on your thinking, based on your understanding, and nothing else. So Buddha said, I will take a story. Now, in this case of a mail, two neighbors were staying at the doorsteps, waiting for the mail person, the mailman, to come to deliver the mails. He handed over the envelopes to two people. Both of them opened the envelope. One started dancing in ecstasy, and the other was saddened, and he started cursing the mailman. Why have you brought this mail to me? What it was, the first man who started dancing in ecstasy, he got the message, a good news, as normally happens. You have been waiting for some good news. That everybody does it. So he started rejoicing. The other got a news which in our day-to-day terminology is a bad news. Maybe a notice from the court, maybe something else, and he started getting on with the postman. You know what did the postman said? I am simply a mailman. I do not know what does the envelope contains. It all depends on you, what you have earned. I am simply delivering to you. This is the law of karma. How does it happen? Buddha said to the questionnaire, I will relate to you, narrate a story to you. Once a king of a particular kingdom decided to visit his subject in the marketplace. So he rode the elephant. His minister, the chief minister, was with him. He went through the market. People gathered, welcomed their king. The shopkeepers came out of their shops, and he stopped in front of one shop, and he told the minister, I want to give life punishment sentence to the owner of this shop. The minister was very much surprised, perturbed with the response of the king. King was very compassionate king, and he never did or say things like these. He could not sleep. Next day, he decided to go to that particular businessman, his shop, as a disguise. He reached there in disguise, did not open his identity. Instead, he inquired from the businessman how things are going. The businessman said, the business is very bad. I deal in sandalwood. And people come and smell the sandalwood. They appreciate. They watch it. They hold in their hands. They look at it. Take the selfies. Because this is the age of selfie. But they do not buy it. My business is in a very bad position. So I thought the only rich person is the king. And my business will get an impetus if king dies. When king dies, for his funeral, sandalwood will be bought. And most of my stock of sandalwood will be bought. And I will be rich. Minister realized what caused the king to say that words which he uttered for this shopkeeper. Knowingly or unknowingly, we keep on sending vibrations. Thought is vibration. Feeling is a vibration. First a feeling comes. Feeling becomes a thought. There was a feeling that there is a downturn in his business. A thought came that who can be the customer. Like when you open a business, there is a strategy which says what are the target customers of your product. You handle those customers, make your strategies to approach those customers who are the target customers. If you are opening a place high profile, exquisite items you have to open in an area which is rich. In an area where people are the common people, they will not be interested in exotic art pieces, the art galleries, because those ordinary people do not have the money or the place. So you have to know the target, that the area or the people that you have to target. So the shopkeeper was targeting king as the prospective customer, and for king's funeral only sandalwood would be used. So he realized that this is what has caused the king to make a comment that he want to give punishment to this shopkeeper. What did the minister do without disclosing his identity? He said, I want to buy a few pieces of sandalwood as a gift. So the shopkeeper was very happy that at least someone has come to buy the sandalwood. He not only sold him but gave him an extra piece, wrapped it up in a gift, and the minister brought that and handed over to the king. King inquired, what is this? He said, this is the sandalwood. You remember that you went yesterday and you stood up in front of one shop and you said you want to give the punishment, life sentence to this man. It is he who sent this for you. King opened the packet. It was shining pieces of sandalwood. They have a nice fragrance. The king became very happy. He realized unnecessarily he was allowing that thought to come to his mind about the shopkeeper, and look at him, he sent me a gift. In turn, the king told his minister, gave him certain coins, some coins, and he said, go and give to the shopkeeper and tell him this is a present from the king. This is the present from the king. When the minister carried this, he said, I carried this sandalwood, I presented it to the king because I know he is a connoisseur. He likes to collect some art pieces and exotic pieces. So king sent this as token of his respect and appreciation for you. The person thought that unnecessarily he was thinking of king's death, and look how generous the king was, and he sent me the gift of coins. He did not buy anything, but he simply got so much pleased with the quality of my product that he decided to send me a gift. This is how the law of karma works. When a circumstance and situation comes, you are dealing with a person, he says some words. You respond, you react to that. You do not respond, you react. A similar incident happened in the life of Buddha. Every morning Buddha will get up, get dressed, put on his cloak, take his begging bowl and his staff in his hand and go in a particular direction which was not determined before. Whichever direction his feet takes him, he goes. He reached to a village, and as Buddha reached, the crowd gathered. Buddha began his sermon. Anand was accompanying him, his disciple and the cousin. So a man came from amidst the crowd. Buddha having his sermon, he abused Buddha, said unpleasant words, then he abused. Buddha did not react. Then the man spit on Buddha. Buddha just wiped out the spit. I'm sure he did not have the napkin to wipe it out. And at this, Anand said, Buddha, this is not a spirituality. You are an innocent person. You did not say anything or do anything, as far as I know, for anyone. This man abused you, threw stones at you, and now spit at you, and you did not say anything. Buddha, you know what did Buddha said? This is the man of awakening. Now you have to decide. Buddha said, Anand, this man did not say anything to you. Did not say anything to you. You are unnecessarily opening an account with him. And when time will come for you to repay, you will not remember. Just as you are saying this that you have not done anything, telling me that you have not done anything, and you letting this person say things like these. Buddha said, you are unnecessarily opening an account with the man who has done nothing to you. Do you know what is my connection with him? Why have I come to this village? Nothing happens without a cause. Karma never forgets its address. Mailman never forgets his actions. Mail is delivered. The resultant of your karmas are delivered to you at the right time, at the right moment. I have, Buddha said, knowing consciously closed all my accounts. This was the only account open which happened when I was in a state of unconsciousness. Now that I have attained, every moment of my life is out of awakening. I would not like to react. Reaction means I am continuing the process of karma. He abused me. I will react and say, what makes you abuse me? Because I have not done anything to you. The person who is angry, he will continue and the process will continue. This is how you live your life. Argument, counter-argument. You are simply said something, told something, but you have to give your explanation out of ego. That no, I was already knew it and I was going to do it. You have opened an account. You are continuing that account. This is how we live our life on a day-to-day basis. Simple thing for which an answer is required, yes or no, but you have to give explanations. This is how we had been trained. I ask you, did you get the laptop? The answer is no or yes. And if maybe I may ask another question, then you respond again, no, you do not have time to wait. You said, I went to the shop, but the shop was not open. And then I again went, the shop was not open. I don't know why. This is what you normally do. Continue. This is an outcome of ego, not outcome of awakening. You say, but this is how everybody lives. But when you are in the company of a master, do you want to learn to live like him or want to continue to live your asinine ways? You want to live out of your asinine understanding, then do not come to the master. Coming to the Master means you have accepted that you are not pleased with your life as it is. You want to bring about a transformation, an understanding. Then you have to learn to understand his ways and means. A master never says anything without knowing, looking at the deeper aspect, your past, present and future, beyond time and space. When I was a little boy growing up, my grandmother, the Sufi master, will tell me that you have to develop your habits like that of your grandfather, the Sufi master. Develop habits like that him. Literal meaning is he puts on a particular kind of garb, so you put on that garb. He walks with a stick and a cap on his head. No. His ways and means of understanding and responding to a particular circumstance and situation is meant by the habits. Buddha said, I have closed all my accounts, but this was the only account open. And Buddha told the man that many times I thought of coming to this village, but it did not happen. Now that I have come, so if you have to say anything else, you can say it now, because maybe you may not meet me again. When an argument begins, the argument, counter-argument, and where it leads, it's all up to you. When you are following the spiritual path, it does not mean you cram, you learn by heart the verses of your scriptures, doing your zikr, going to the regular churches, place of your worship, following the rituals. This is what we understand by the religious, being religious. Religiousness is an understanding that we are not aliens, we are bound to each other by a causeless force. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. When you are going in a constantly thought process, thinking, introspection, thinking goes on in an individual. The waves of emotions rises in an individual. And out of the emotion is transformed into thinking. Thinking transforms into the words that overflow out of you. And those create the waves. They are like waves, like a storms. And when this man was sitting with not having the income, not having the customers coming in, whereas his neighbor's shop having the flow of customers one after the other, so he thought that when the king dies, he is the only richest man, he will buy the sandalwood. These are the waves that continues to flow, and it is directed towards a person. He gets the feeling within, and as a result he wanted to give him life punishment, kill the man. Does things like this does not happen in your day-to-day life? You may be behaving as a very decent person in front of your wife, in front of your husband, in front of your subordinate, in front of your boss, but deep down you are boiling. But that person, your wife, your husband, your boss, your subordinate, are just like you. They are not Buddhas, but you are aspiring to live a spiritual life, you have to make a break somewhere or the other so that this process does not continue at long. Somewhere or the other, this has to discontinue. Somewhere it has to discontinue. Sometimes it happens when a particular circumstance and situation comes, anger rises in you. You cannot get angry with your boss. So you are boiling within. You reach the doorstep. You knock at the door. Wife opens the door with her cell phone in her hand, talking to someone. You answer something and she does not respond because she is in conversation on the phone. You reach inside. You see that she is busy talking to the person on phone. She does not pay attention to your presence. She continues the talk. So the water inside, the emotional water continues to reach its boiling point. In that process, you enter the kitchen to see that if you can find something. You do not find anything to eat. You go and see she is still on the phone. You snatch the phone from her hand, pelt it to the ground, and say that you cannot see that I have come home. I may be hungry or something, but she may not, because she is dependent on you. She is not independent as a housewife. She may tolerate that. You have not found the cause why she did not and who she is talking to or whatever it is. So she takes on, you took out the anger that has brewed into you since your boss told you about your work, your lack of, your carelessness about the work, making continuous mistakes which has been causing tremendous loss to the business. You did not accept that. Instead, you feel that he should have not said that to you. You could not tell him that, so you takes out that anger onto your wife. Wife cannot say anything to you. She takes out on her 5-year-old daughter. She comes to her, "Mummy, I want something." You are boiling, so you slap her. Give her a good beating. She goes, she cannot tell the mother or hold her hand from beating her. She goes and she picks up her doll and wrings the neck of the doll, where it started and where it ended. This is how the process of karma continues. If at the time when your boss had said things about your job, instead of introspecting that is he really right or not? If he is really right, then it is okay. Then you can apologize to him and say that I will correct it. Then the process would have ended right there. But no. It happens like this. We continue to live our life like this, and after that we forget our reactions. A Buddha responds to a situation. Many times things like these come to me. The human element wants to respond, whether it is wife, children, the employees, the employers. The human element comes to the surface, but at the same time, the gap between the human element and the Buddha element is not there at all. Immediately it comes in that you are a Buddha, you're not supposed to react, instead respond. There was a feeling that could have become thinking, that could have become a thought. Immediately the process of introspection comes in. You introspect. And when you introspect, you meditatively think, then it is followed by meditation, and everything begins to change. Buddha said this is the way karma seeps into your life and continues long. You continue to live a life of ignorance. Whether you are living a worldly life or in a spiritual life, religious life, you continue to live. You can be pardoned because you are living as a worldly life. You are in the childhood of your inward journey. When you come as a religious person, you following the religious, you are becoming a little adult. But the spiritual life, when you come, you are attaining maturity. You have to interact differently. In religious life, if you continue to act as an ignorant child, you cannot be pardoned. A child can be pardoned. When you are a religious person, you have a certain responsibilities. You are supposed to act in a particular way. Not that as a Muslim you're supposed to put on a Jummah Salah, the cap and this and that and walk in that way. No. Change has to come in your understanding. Nanak speaks of the 4 sutras where he speaks about mind and introspection. Although the 2 words seem to be similar, but there is a vast difference between the 2. You can look at a swimmer. He remains on the surface, and in the process of swimming he moves from one place to another. He remains on the surface and covers up a certain distance. In the process of swimming, the position changes and still he remains at the same surface. Swimmer moves from position A to position B, B to C, and so on and so forth. The position or the situation changes, but the depth remains the same. Swimming takes place on the surface of the water. On the contrary, there is a diver who dives into the ocean, into the river, into the water from one spot. The spot does not change. He takes dive from one spot and then reaches to the deeper levels of the water. Diving aims to reach the deeper layers of the water. Accordingly, he moves from one depth to a still deeper one, and this process continues until he reaches the required depth. In diving, he moves from a position A1 to A2, A3, and so on and so forth. Each represents a deeper level. Thinking is like swimming. Introspection, meditation, or manan, which is the Hindi word, is like diving. Thinking is a linear process. It does not matter what you are thinking about your business, God, wife, or anything else, the level of thinking remains the same. Your understanding never changes. The surface or the understanding remains superficial. You can take any word or thought and remain on the surface as far as your understanding is concerned. Or you start going deeper into your being with the same word. For instance, take the word wife. This word is unique. When you are on the surface thinking about the physical relations, and through the relation you can start moving deeper into your being and you enter the realm of the unknown. It all depends on you. With introspection, journey into your being begins. With thinking, you remain on the surface and the process continues. We will stop here until tomorrow. We continue the process of mind and actions in a different perspective. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.